I can go back up now.
Okay, ready?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, so Alan, let's actually just start back at the beginning. So before you even joined Path to Purpose, like just tell us a little bit about what was going on in your life.
Yeah. So obviously COVID happened and I was a fitness instructor full time, worked teaching over 18 classes a week. And I loved it, but I knew that wasn't for me always. And then once COVID happened, it kind of like put me in a halt and I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do. And I think through a Sweat Life, I met you about like a resume building workshop. And then like I just started following you on Instagram and then took a couple of your classes and realized that I think I've been always searching for that purposeful, meaningful thing. And like, I thought I was going to do it with my previous schooling and that did not work. And then with fitness and stuff. And it's always been like, I've always wanted more. And so your program was so appealing to me because that's like basically what I was looking for. And I feel like more people need to live their lives this way. Because I wasn't really a big fan of the 9-to-5 corporate world in general. That's not how my brain works. And so I would struggle a lot. And then, so that's kind of why I joined when talking with you, trying to figure out my next phases and next chapters in life. And so I joined way early and then I struggled through it at the beginning, but I needed a group. And that was something I just realized I couldn't do it on my own. So once I was able to get into the group meetings, it was definitely a lot easier to go through. So
we'll talk about all like your journey in the program, but do you remember like right before you signed up, like how you were feeling in general about life and your career and all the things?
Yeah. So I was going through a lot of changes, right? I moved out of Chicago. My boyfriend and I moved to New York for 2 months and then we were going to travel for 4 months. So I was like, okay, I can't just sit at home all the time while he's working because I only was teaching like 1 class online to 2 classes online. So I was trying to figure out how I can benefit myself. And I was just trying to figure out like, was I going to get a job? But then I would have to be virtual because I was traveling so much. And then I just decided that, you know what, I'm going to take a pause and invest in myself first and see what I really want versus trying to do all these odd job things. And I was just overwhelmed with what I could have done. And then I was just like, stop. And what do you actually want to do? So that's why it kind of led me to this.
Okay. So tell us a little bit about like, the journey. So you joined me for the mastermind. So you just mentioned like group coaching. Tell me a little bit about like, what that experience was like for you to go through this with a cohort and to move through the program material. What was the actual journey itself like for you?
Yes. Yeah. So I joined, I think in October. I thought it was November, but I guess it's October. And we were doing monthly calls and I enjoyed that. But for me alone, it was something I think I needed more structure to force me to get back into to-do lists because with COVID, like I was kind of all over the place. I was using that time to travel and be with family versus like focusing on daily tasks. And so I kind of was struggling through it. And plus it was towards the end of the year. And so when I started and I was like, all right, 2021, like I'll start back up. And that's when you messaged me to do the mastermind one where it was 3 months. And I was like, where we met weekly. And I was like, okay, yeah, this is definitely something that I'm more interested in because it gets me to meet people and that are also going through the same thing. So I was like struggling because I felt like I was kind of on an island a little bit doing it myself and I was keeping it to myself more and not telling a lot of people. So it was nice once I got to meet people that were kind of all on the same journey with me. We can relate and talk and I didn't feel as much as I'm on an island anymore. So yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. So tell us a little bit about where you are now and like what you got out of the program.
So I got out of it way more than I thought I was going to. I thought that, I didn't have limiting beliefs. I didn't have childhood problems. I didn't have all of those things. And I thought I was just kind of someone that was more in the spiritual realm and people didn't understand that yet. But through going through your program and doing all of different aspects, I definitely felt I was able to grow as a person and be more confident in who I was. I feel like in the beginning, I had no confidence. I had no direction. I didn't know what I was doing. And I was just trying to find my way through life. And through this program, I always said in the beginning, I wanted to gain confidence. Like confidence was one thing I wanted to gain more of. And I realized I was looking outward for confidence, whereas I should have been looking inward. And I feel that that was all through my limiting beliefs and worrying about what other people thought. I'm a wooer. I like to win others over. So I had to win myself over, basically, is where that kind of, I was like trying to appease everyone else. And through this, I realized that like I'm the most important first. And then even though you hear that all the time, it was like going through all of these different programs and even writing your own rules, you know, and doing those things. It was like, yeah, and then owning it. And yeah, so.
Amazing. And tell us a little bit about like what were there any like lessons in particular from the program that stood out as like holy shit moments or like big ahas that you're kind of still carrying with you?
Yeah, for sure. I definitely think that, so I did the inner child stuff twice because I did an early child, like when I was little. And actually my quote unquote trauma, if you will, was more from like post-college grad school stuff. And so I did that again. And that once I did it the second time, I was able to kind of have a better relationship with my parents and forgive a lot more of things that I was not like, I don't know, I like my parents weren't always praiseful, right? And I didn't really need that when I was in grade school and high school because I was just, you know, doing my own thing and focused and determined. But it was more once I graduated college and they're like, you're an adult now, you figured out. I was like, but I still need some of that. And once I went through that part, I feel like it was something that I gained more respect for my parents. I like have, I mean, I feel like I have a good relationship with them in general, but it was just some of those things were nagging me and I finally was able to release that. And so that was definitely a big one that I did. Also trigger tools. I am one of those people that like, when I get overwhelmed, I have to cry, not because I'm sad, not because I'm like, it's just overwhelmed and I like don't know how to release my emotions. So the meditation through trigger tools was something that I've used multiple times when I've found a trigger. And now I feel like I haven't cried in weeks. So that's good. Unless it's been like happy tears for someone at a wedding or something, but not because of my own emotions. And I feel like I'm always thought I was a calm person, but I'm even more like, okay, that doesn't bother me. Just let it go. Yeah. And then obviously I know like limiting beliefs is probably the best one of all of them. And I think that was something that I didn't take like I didn't do as much as I wanted to, and then now I'm starting to see them more, so I'm more knowledgeable of them. I didn't dive in and type in like 30 different beliefs, but now I'm sitting here like, oh, that's probably from like I'm so much more aware of it, and it's helping me reframe my mind as I walk through it. So, yeah.
And now you have taken a big leap in your career. Tell us about the big leap that Path to Purpose helped you take.
Yeah, so I thought I always wanted to open up my own kind of yoga studio or brick and mortar. And through Path to Purpose / COVID, I've learned that I don't need a brick and mortar and I can do pretty much all of this online and reach a lot more people, which I think is something that is more impactful for me. So the fact that I can do an online camp with kids. So my thing I want to do is do an online camp for kids called Camp Yogi, where it's about learning about yoga practices, mindfulness practices, and mantras. And because I feel kids kind of don't get that stuff in school, and it's so important this day and age of just learning how to be able to take your body, and if you're angry, go do some movements or breath work or whatever. And if they can learn that at an early age, I think more kids will succeed faster and find what they really want sooner. So I'm excited that hopefully that'll be happening in the fall. And yeah, I think that through your program, I've gained a lot of insight of how to run an online business. And I think that that's been super helpful as I'm going through all of the next steps that I'm going to start my own company. And I think that I'm excited to reach people all over the country, maybe world. I have no idea, just depending on the time zones.
Yes, I love that so much. Like, think of what the world's going to look like if we have a bunch of kids like doing breath work and acknowledging their emotions and using mindfulness, you know?
Yeah, for sure. And then meeting other people from around the world or whatever, you know, I used to teach for schools that were only in Chicago. So now I can reach people from, California all the way to Florida to wherever. So I'm excited for that part too, and for other people to kind of meet people that aren't like them too. So yeah, the future is bright, hopefully. So
it really is. That's amazing. I'm so excited for you. That's just like, there's so incredible. Truly, truly just like a beautiful example, a beautiful expression of like your purpose coming to life.
Right, for sure.
Way.
Yeah.
Okay, Ellen, so tell us a little bit about like who do you think is the right fit for the program? Like who, if somebody's watching this and they're trying to decide if Paths of Purpose is the right fit for them, like who would you recommend this to?
I mean, honestly, anyone and everyone, but if I have to be specific, I will. I think it's people that are just feeling a little lost and need a little bit of direction, but are looking for direction in the wrong places. So maybe external direction, whereas through this program, you learn to kind of use your internal direction and base it on your intuition and all the woo-woo things we learn in this wonderful program. But I think, a lot of people are struggling right now with their jobs, especially once they're working from home and all of that. And I think that you will learn how to do an entrepreneurial business if you want, but I think that this program offers so much that you can use throughout, whether you're in the corporate world or wherever. I think it's more about just figuring out who you are and what you truly want and what your purpose is, and if that aligns with your career, or if you're keeping them separate. I think anyone can do this. But yeah, I would definitely say people that are just looking for a direction, especially an external direction or a sign. I think that usually the sign kind of comes from internal. So, and once you start to notice, but I could name like 5 different people right now. All my friends need this.
I love this. So Ellen's friends, if you're watching. Amazing, Ellen. Thank you so much. Any guidance for anybody who just like, now that you've been through this journey, any wisdom you want to offer for somebody who's struggling and feeling stuck and looking for direction and doesn't, maybe is looking externally? Anything that you want to share?
Yeah, I would say start talking to people. I think that a lot of times we hold things in and we start thinking things like, no, we could never accomplish that. But if you like find a confident or someone that you're comfortable with and start talking to them, Emily's a great person, but anyone is great. And just kind of start like voicing it or writing it down. And then just start thinking, like, trust your intuition. I think that your intuition is something that we like to push away a lot. And just start, if you are having that feeling, ride that feeling, right? So, yeah.
Amazing. And final question, what sort of, obviously it's an investment, right? Like this, it's for many people who join Paths of Purpose, it's the first time that they've really invested in themselves. I know you have done like yoga teacher trainings and you've invested in yourself in other ways, but can you just speak a little bit to, what it feels like to, make that investment in yourself when maybe it feels scary and you aren't sure it's going to, work?
So I'm like very analytical. So the way I look at things is a little different, but I luckily was doing it during COVID where I couldn't go out and have fun nights with my friends. So it was the money I was using towards that. But I think that we don't invest in ourselves as much as we should. And I think that's why we have a lot of people that are unsure and unhappy in their world, because they don't put time in, even just time to invest in yourself, right? Like, so I think that once you make that leap, like, you don't have, it's a monthly investment, but you probably aren't paying a gym membership right now anyway. So it's like things like that I was like, all right, I'll just invest in myself and in my mind and in my confidence in myself versus my physical self, and flip it, just kind of figure out a different way to move the money around. And I think that investing in yourself, you need to do it as soon as possible, because without that, I don't know if you may not be as happy as you thought you could be. So, yeah.
It really does start to shift things when we invest in ourselves, doesn't it? Just like the act of it. It says like, yep, I'm ready. I'm ready for whatever's next. I'm ready for opening up to this next chapter. Well, thanks, Al. Thank you so much for sharing. I'm so glad that we got to have you in this. Any final words before I turn off the recording?
I just want to say thank you. And I am so grateful for your program. And I know it's something that I'm going to keep in my toolbox monthly, probably for all of the different things that you offer us. This is a bookmark that is forever going to be on my computer. So Path to Purpose has been amazing and I can't wait to keep using it.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.